I'm really, really happy to see you all today here. Today is 24th of June, and in my time zone it's 25th of June 2003. And the topic for today, I was hesitating, wasn't sure how to name it, but eventually we came up with this title with Judy, 3 Journeys for Inner Resources, Power and Balance. So I think there is no doubt these are the times when we need all our resources. We need to be resourceful. We need to be able to connect with our power, and we need to be able to balance. And again, for those who are here maybe for the first time, my name is Oxana Bondarchuk. I'm originally from Russia, but I've been living in Australia for the last now maybe 13 years. And I'm certified Awakened Mind practitioner and trainer, and I am online events moderator. So I represent Institute for the Awakened Mind, and I do have a background in psychology as a teacher of psychology, and I also have a diploma in transpersonal psychology. And I have a broad spectrum of interests, including sacred geometry, shamanic work, and currently I'm also studying family constellations. So what you will see today is a mixture of all my interests, because I pulled 3 exercises from completely different areas, but they have something in common. Before we start, I suggest we do a little warm-up exercise, warm-up meditation. So for our meditations, I'll invite you just to sit comfortably, close your eyes, and be ready to follow my guidance. This one is just warming up. It's very light and easy to set the right kind of mood for our today's program. Quickly review in your mind all activities from this day that preceded this very moment in now. You may roll it in fast speed if you like, and if there is any unfinished business or a trail of thought or emotion, just kind of wrap it up and place it to the side or behind of you. And remember, you can come back to it when we finish, so you don't have to be distracted by all of this during our program. Wrap it up, leave it, and allow yourself to be fully here and now. In this present moment, feel your body here on a chair, feet on the ground. Feel the temperature and sounds around you. And now, in your mind's eye, take yourself into a time of your childhood, probably between 6 and 10 years old, in a moment when you were very happy. You can see yourself playing with your friends, or maybe your pet, or just riding a bicycle, or daydreaming in the field of flowers by yourself. You can pick any situation or environment, but what's more important, connect with the pure joy of that moment. The feeling of light-mindedness, ease, and playfulness. Stay with this feeling for a few seconds, fully registering it, sensing how it feels in your body. Check your face, your lungs, maybe overall body weight, and the whole situation, how it smells and tastes. And I invite you to take this feeling into your today's practice. We will need it. So that was the exercise, and I invite you gently to open your eyes and come back. I did this exercise with a purpose because I always know that we normally bring stuff, all kinds of stuff with us into the next activity, and instead of dragging it, it's a good exercise to set it aside and let it wait till the right moment comes or until we finish, to keep your mind clear and open. And I simply invite you, even use this warm-up exercise in case you need to prepare yourself for, I don't know, for a class, for maybe a client meeting, or just an important meeting, something where you need to be fully present. I found this definition of health that I came up with not very typical. It's not World Health Organization definition. It's something that helps me and help you as well to better understand the essence of our health. So I would say it's a balance. It's flexibility when there is nothing stuck. When there is any extreme, it doesn't matter really which one, we are not in the balance. We are not in the middle. We are deviating from our best optimal performance. So it's always, to be able to balance, you need to be flexible, right? And also I thought health implies how much of life energy, how much of the flow of this energy you can allow yourself to transmit. And I called it permeability, or high receptive capacity for the flow of life. And of course, when we put all of this together, as a result or as a consequence, which is quite logical, you can expect yourself to be more responsible, right? Or your responsibility will improve. And this is also part of health. Your adaptability will improve, right? So you're better adapt. And life is all about adapting constantly to changing circumstances, to be able to survive, to grow, to evolve. So it's also always about creativity, because again, the circumstances are constantly changing, so should change and be adjusted our response to these circumstances. So it implies creativity. So we'll look in each moment with a fresh eye and recognize, discern the right context and behave, or come up with the right set of qualities and the right behavior. So in terms of our brain, like any other energy system, it wants to use maximum of its capacity in the most optimal way, which implies both hemispheres should be working together to be able to bring bigger outlook, higher perspective. So you combine left and right hemisphere with their different qualities, and of course that gives you better idea of what's going on, right? In detail, with all the logic, but also with the higher perspective and all interconnections involved. Also, we need different parts of our brain to be well connected and communicating freely, because humans, they have the most evolved brain compared to all other living beings. And it just implies the network and connectivity between different parts becomes more and more important for us to function well. In case of the mind mirror and how we look at the brain function, we look at the patterns. For those who know, the most optimal probably will be evolved mind pattern, or if you have gamma with some gamma on top, or universal consciousness pattern, then with gamma on top. But in short, it's circular, right? It's the one with the least amount of bottlenecks. So to say that we can connect with any frequency, be it on the left or on the right, be it representing conscious mind or subconscious mind. So we can connect with any part, any level of frequency that we need to respond. And also circular shape, it kind of implies that there are no hooks, right? And hooks is something that, say, if you imagine yourself walking with hooks, you'll constantly hitting all other people around you, grabbing all the stuff, so to say. So it's really good to be this smooth and circular. One more thing, by balance we also mean that low activation or overactivation, as I already said, any extreme, any stuck energy, lack of flexibility in terms of brain, it's maybe bad brain development or bad brain habits. All of this would represent a sign of disbalance or disease. So too little or too much, it should be just right. And one more little comment, you probably heard it already from me, that we say mental health in English, but if I do direct translation into my native language of Russian, it will be actually soul health. I mean, I personally, I'm used to look at things from a little bit higher perspective, because I think soul implies so much more than just mental. Okay, and as a metaphor for health, please pay attention, or maybe make a snapshot in your mind of this person walking the rope and balancing, because this is the best representation of health. And just a quick reminder again for those who know the brain waves. Remember on the previous slide there was a man holding a stick to balance. So if we look at the mind mirror map of consciousness, where we see this beta, alpha, theta, delta, all the frequencies, it kind of looks like that alpha sitting in the middle actually does work as that stick helping us to balance. And yes, it's not just the bridge separating conscious mind from our unconscious mind, or subconscious and unconscious, so unconscious realm, something we are not fully aware of. Its function is exactly to help us stay flexible, to help us respond, for us to be sensitive. Just a reminder that any peak performance training and even awakened mind training, of course, will address alpha in the first place. Because without this, we will get stuck, we will be locked, and we will be too far from our peak or optimal performance. By the way, the shape of this pattern also implies that alpha is kind of the biggest in awakened mind, like this balancing stick, and it's the loudest, so to say, brainwave in our orchestra of brainwaves. The frequency is around 10 hertz, and it is typically the dominant frequency in awakened brain and the main factor in organization of other frequencies. So in the mature brain, the health will be indicated by clearly visible, present and flexible alpha. So alpha is thus the key in the regulation of arousal, organization of information, orientation in time, and goal-directed behavior. In some way, you can say that it's that timer, the clock. We call it with the mind mirror the bridge, but you can also call it the timer or the clock, something which represents the temporal organization of knowledge-based consciousness. So without alpha, we wouldn't be fully conscious, we wouldn't be fully humans the way we are. So thalamic reticular nucleus control internal attentional searchlight. So look to the left where you can see these pictures. Alpha is generated in thalamus, and it has connections with our cortex. So you can see these connections going up and back and front of our brain. And thus we are able to process and receive all sensory information. It's like thalamus is like sensory hub for our brain. I'm just showing you how critical it is and how important it is for us for keeping flexible and dynamic alpha, because it's sometimes they even call it other frequencies. It's just slowing down of alpha or speeding up of alpha. And by the way, it's very interesting to know that other frequencies can be defined by their harmonics and golden mean relationships with alpha as well. But there is a separate program on that, which is called Brainwave Origin and Function, a part 2, which solely devoted to alpha, brainwaves, in case you are interested in physiology or neurophysiology of the brain. But here today we are going to practice. This is a very practical program. First of all, my experience showed me that whether you call it mental health or not, but having a switch to your brain is something very, very desirable and good to have. So I'm going to offer you to try to find this switch today. So the first journey of the first exercise will be focused more on flexibility, though we will be, all words are interconnected. Flexibility, balancing, connectivity. One is impossible without the other. So I'll show this slide because it's a good representation or a metaphor for a healthy, integral outlook at life. So look at this multifaceted glass. And you can notice that probably there is only a number of facets that you can see at a time, unless you change your angle or point of view and or perspective. So this is a good thing to remember that, say, for example, we meet other people with different points of view. It may be simply that their points of view sit on the facets that are not as clear and not as visible to us. But actually, all of these perspectives are important for having a kind of bigger picture or more whole experience or understanding of what's going on. And say, if we talk about like the work of the practitioner or a therapist, really we can't change the past. We may rewrite the past by shifting and playing with our perspective around it, helping us to see more of the angles and facets so we can better understand what happened, or it can be better integrated into the bigger story of our life. So it's becomes connected, and to me connected implies also that it gains some meaning. So it becomes meaningful to us, and that way we can finally, as I said, integrate or digest the experience. It simply means we are just playing with the facets, we are switching in the facets. This flexibility or the switch is required maybe to prevent some drama or just issues that you don't want to create for yourself in life by the right response to the right context. And it's also something that helps us heal. This is an interesting exercise where we'll be dealing with animals. And before we go there, I'll simply explain what I would like you to do. So we all probably know, most of you have tried animal meditation. We started our meditation club last year with this very basic alpha meditation. But today it will be a different experience. The key is to practice finding the switch for yourself. So imagine yourself as a radio, for example, or as a TV that's trying to connect to different stations. And different stations implies different frequencies, different qualities, different programs, different content. So in case we need to do sports, obviously we'll switch to the sports channel. We need I don't know, inspiration for dinner, we'll look at the cooking show, cooking channel. So it's pretty obvious. But I'm inviting you to think about your life, different contexts or situations of your life in terms of qualities required for them. Which actually qualities you need here or there, and where you do things right, where you recognize the right context, or where you're losing the context, and some other qualities would be desirable. And shamanic approach would be, or even human approach, if you want to become a master in something, you'll probably go and find apprenticeship for yourself, right? To be good at it. So shamanic way is much faster. There are many qualities around us in nature, in the animal kingdom. So I'm inviting you to find the right qualities in the right animals. And it's not really important how others see the animal. It's important how you see this animal and its qualities. And to make it clearer and easier, first of all, I'll give you my own example of my own animals. I was actually fascinated when I came up not just with one, but with quite a few for different life situations. So my first animal was the sheep. And I thought, oh, that's who I am at home. In my family, especially in my parents' family, I want to be very soft and cuddly and sensual and vulnerable. I don't want to push anything or, to play politics or big games. I'm truly a herd animal because I'm a very family person. And I'm also kind of in that mindset where I like to look for a shepherd, or I look for somebody to make decisions for me regarding all like family issues. So I'm not very independent, or I'm not revealing my leadership skills there. I'm more really like a sheep. And I provided these beautiful pictures for you just to give you an idea, make it more vivid. So let's move on. So for example, if I take the qualities of a sheep to work, they don't really work for me because especially in the past when I was working for big corporations, which required to be strong, to be independent, to be more like a shark than a sheep, I realized, oh no, I have to switch really. I have to connect to other qualities I might have in me. And that's where I came up with a cat. Or actually bigger cat than like domestic cat, more like a wild cat, which is more independent. Cats are always on their own mind. They have their own agenda. But at the same time, they're good diplomats. They're very delicate. They know how to approach, how to get what they need. And they're quite feminine as well. So I realized that in certain life situations, as I mentioned at work and maybe in partner relationship, I want to be more like a cat because it gives me these qualities and flexibility that I was missing being a little bit maybe lazy and idle sheep. And then again, in other work situations or with my friends, sometimes I felt that being a sensitive person doesn't work for me in situations where I really need to have a thicker skin. I thought, yeah, sometimes you come across people who would like to bark at you, and there is a parable, we have famous parable in Russia where the elephant was walking down the streets and then there was little dog who was barking at the elephant. And the idea of the parable is that elephant really doesn't care about this little dog. It's just little dog is trying to show its importance or draw attention to oneself. And nobody is actually even questioning the dog's importance. It's really the dog's problem. And it's all the dog's projections at play. So I thought, oh, yes, elephant, great animal with a thick skin. And I also see it as it's a group animal, as you can see. So it's great to be an elephant with friends because it's kind. It's kind of fun as well. And it's also, to me, feels like unofficial leader. If, say, I imagine myself surrounded by my friends as unofficial leader, which is a common to me. Others could represent other animals, but I'll be pretty big and fun and easygoing. So that was another animal. And then switching to other life situations. I thought that at times I need to more endurance. I need more austerity. It's either in difficult financial times or in situations where I need to face the authorities, especially government authorities. You do lots of bureaucracy, lots of papers are needed for this or that document, and you really can't fight it. You have to go with it and just provide what is required, what is asked from you. And I thought, why don't I take this camel attitude? Because to me, it stands for light attitude to life. You drink once and then you walk through the desert and you don't have much needs. And then also when I looked into camel's eyes, I felt like, oh, this is just hippie spirit in the eyes of a camel. It's kind of freedom of spirit I could recognize there, and a great nature connection, which actually, yes, I'm ready to comply with all the limitations, but I'm actually enjoying it. I'm actually free inside. It doesn't make me small. It doesn't make me little. Plus, camels, when they get angry, they can really spit at you. So, and spitting in Russian, again, it's a metaphor. I think the closest English version would be to be like water over a duck's back. So it's this lightness and ease of attitude, and I'll just spit on things I can't change and take it easy. So that's another animal that I came up with. And then, for example, for my spiritual practice, whenever I meditate, I feel myself more like a wild horse, which to me stands for connecting with this wild or raw natural power. It's a free-running horse, of course, and it's something which is unstoppable to me, which is extremely powerful and unstoppable. So these were my examples. Now I will move to a guided meditation and invite you to close your eyes and get ready. So I will read or remind the task first, and then give you a few minutes to meditate on this on your own with some music. The music that I hope will help you to open alpha brainwaves. So please get ready. Again, make sure you sit comfortably. You can breathe freely and you're not distracted. I'm inviting you to look into different situations of your life and clearly recognize different contexts, right? Different setups requiring their unique qualities from you in response. So, for example, you could be looking at yourself at work with your boss or colleagues or clients. It could be a situation where you're at home with your parents or partners or children. It could be the moments where you are with yourself, meditating, doing a hobby, your favorite sport. So think of what animal are you in this or that situation. And if there is something which is not quite right, what animal would you rather be in this or that situation? And I invite you, do not just look at situations and animals from outside, but when you come up with the idea of the animal, jump inside the animal and try to be it. Feel the reality around you through the eyes of that animal, through the body, if you can sense the body of the animal, through the smells and how in general life feels from inside of that animal, with a special focus, of course, on qualities that you need. And when you come up with the right animal for each situation, make a mental snapshot, take a mental snapshot of what it is like to be this or that animal. Feel the clear difference between their qualities and situations, and imagine yourself in real life situations where you are the right animal, where you are doing things right. So now I'll play the music and invite you to do this exercise on your own. So this was the exercise, and I would really love if you'd like to share if you found anything interesting for yourself or anything about your experience.
This is Garth.
Yes, Garth, how are you?
I did not get an animal, but I got a pretty blank screen in my mind that could follow the changes in music or flow with the flute music like that without anything else going on internally in my thinking processes. And that's unusual for me because my thinking processes are always really active.
I guess then the music choice was right. Okay, thank you, Garth, for your feedback. I used this music during my previous program about brainwaves wisdom for everyday life, just showing that I think if you go into alpha and if you find how your brain music would look like for alpha, that would be something like this. And I played music with contrast, you know, how busy your mind is when you are in beta, when you are thinking, or when you're even stressing or panicking, and how this music creates this space and flow and openness. And as we all know from maybe animal meditation experience, animal experience is always beingness. So animals are not stuck in their minds, right? They are not as stressed. The second exercise that I would like to present is about looking for the place of power inside. We are normally used to think of places of power, something like an ancient volcano, for example, a sacred site. Or maybe there was a church, an ancient church for years and years where people were praying and they created the special aura around that place with beautiful and high and nice frequencies. But it was the biggest revelation for me to find that actually we can find such place inside our body. And just to remind everyone again that when we look with the mind mirror, we associate body with alpha frequencies again, so alpha category. And sensoric perceptions of the body will sit exactly there. So body is a great anchor to the present moment because mind has a tendency to wander. We lose ourselves with the past experiences, especially traumatic. They keep dragging our attention back to them. And it's for a purpose. They want to be resolved, or we are too excited to make plans about the future. But body is always there in the present moment. It can't be physically in the past. We can't be physically in the future. We are always in the body in now. So in a way, when you're remembering that, hey, I'm here, not just with my mind lost there, I'm here with my body, it's already a great anchor to the present moment and alpha. Consequently, right? So as soon as we start sensing the body, we connect with alpha. Plus, we may find something, some part of the body that may be particularly helpful for us. So we use the body as a map to find the place which should help us balance. Many of you seen this slide already. So did you know that neurofeedback has more in common than you think with shamanism, Buddhism, and even sacred geometry? So in shamanism, disease, right, is a sign of a disbalance, and shamans work to restore the natural balance. Buddhism teaches you about the middle path. Sacred geometry will tell you about golden mean ratio, which is basically the main ratio for the main curvature for life, for growth, for evolution, for every single shape and leaf and spirals, everything. The physiology of life is also all about dynamic equilibrium. I mentioned already what it means, optimal brain function. Physiology is actually a great thing to look into because all intangible processes will have their analogs or will be similar in principle to how it manifests in material world. And I want to give you some examples. So it's always harder to work with psychology in something which is intangible, you can't see, you can't hold on to. But since whatever happens on the physical level is replicated on the subtle levels. So what do we see on the level of our physiology? We all know about homeostasis, and you know this self-regulating process by which an organism tends to maintain stability while adjusting to conditions that are best for its survival. If homeostasis is successful, life continues. If it's unsuccessful, it results in a disaster or death of the organism. So stability takes place as a part of a dynamic equilibrium, which can be thought of as a cloud of values with a tight range in which continuous change occurs. The result is that relatively uniform conditions prevail. So the most typical example that will be given with regards to homeostasis will be our body temperature. So we have our body reactions that naturally will be like shaking to warm ourselves up when we get cold, and we'll be sweating to get cooler on a hot day. So that's typical example of homeostasis, right? So it's the body is trying to sustain the comfortable range, the equilibrium, so we can keep living, we can adjust to life. And then another example I thought would be good, example about immunity. Our immune system builds a defense against that specific antigen. And there is also passive immunity, that's where antibodies are produced in a body other than our own. As I said, this is, for example, mom's immunity passed to the baby. But the key there is that if we really think about life, we have to understand that it's never about sterile conditions, that we constantly have all kinds of bacteria and even viruses hitting our body. But somehow, if we have immunity system working well, our body responds with antibodies that are able to level it out, right? To bring the balance back so that we are relatively healthy. We are within the healthy range. And I was thinking this is a great reminder, because somehow at least I lived half of my life probably under illusion that, I really want good and peaceful circumstances where nothing major happens or nothing bad, no bad experience, no bad emotion, no bad feeling. But really, it's not about, it's really impossible, let's face it, right? So it's part of life to face what we call undesirable or maybe negative, but it's not about avoiding it. It's not about fighting, really actively fighting it. It's in a healthy way, balancing out and responding to it in an adequate way. That's what this exercise will be about. The exercise, I'll say a few words about it. So it's called somatic experience, where we are trying to find kind of an anchor for ourselves to hold on to when, say, the whole body and mind are thrown into big stress, and you feel like you're losing yourself, you're losing the situation, and often it feels like it's overwhelming. It's the whole totality of your mind and your body are thrown there. But actually, as you zoom in and try to find the location for your stress or pain or fear, it's usually manifested in some places of your body more than in others. Plus, there could be even some places of your body that are even untouched by that experience, which is absolutely great, because that way you're able to start balancing yourself out by connecting with the part which is really, really stressed. For example, most of people will say, if I'm stressed, oh, I feel like I'm lacking air, I can't breathe, I'm suffocating, right? Or my knees are shaking, or my hands are shaking, or I really feel my heart wants to jump out of my chest. Usually there is an epicenter somewhere where it's like the major tornado of your stress is happening, for example, in your heart area or in your knees, or your mouth is really dry. But then if you asked, is there any part of your body which feels comfortable? Yes, the situation is not that great, the experience is not that great, overall stress, but maybe you still have part of your body which is not affected. And I will give you some examples, but of course, don't follow them blindly, because we all are individuals and we have we really usually have different places of power. That's how I called them for myself. For example, I had an example of where the girl came up with eyelashes. Yes, it's something that, eyelashes are still there and they are not shaking and they're not suffocating and there is not much happening to them. They're still fine. A friend of mine, she came up with nails, which is also strange. But she said, it made me really look into it, because my whole life, nails, especially for girls, for women, polished nails and well taken care of nails, it's kind of a status thing. And she said, my whole life, I really paid lots of attention to my nails. It's really important for me. And now I realized why. It's not just the status, it's actually something that's really firm and hard, and it's important for me. And following her example and doing my own exercise, I came up with the forehead bone. And since my friend, she has a medical degree, she said, Oksana, do you know that bone is actually unique in its composition? It's actually the hardest one in the human body, this bone from your skull, because it does protect your brain. The places where I become most vulnerable, they'll be about my boundaries, right? Where I'm too sensitive or too soft, not even realizing, where my boundary might be crossed. So I realized, this bone is as hard as, and when I put my focus onto this bone, it's really like an anchor for me. It returns me back to me. It reminds me of, how hard and solid my boundaries can be. So it helps me to stand for myself when I feel like, I'm losing it. No, I can balance it with with this bone. So here comes the exercise. I'm going again to guide you. There will be no music this time. Just get ready, get comfortable. Again, close your eyes. And now I invite you to think of some recent stressful situation. Don't take something major, because this will be just a light exercise. I don't want you to completely lose yourself, but something that caused some distress for you, where you felt uncomfortable. It could be anything. You were late to a meeting. I don't know, maybe you didn't behave according to your standards. Maybe you had an argument with your partner or your friend, something which makes you feel really uncomfortable. So in your mind, place yourself back into that situation, but don't just get lost completely and overwhelmed in your mind. Identify where and how this discomfort or stress feels in your body. Where do you feel the most discomfort and how it manifests? Connect with this stressful part. As I said, it could be your breath, It could be your heartbeat. It could be trembling, shaking, other sensations in your body. Could be maybe heaviness in your chest. It's quite common. And now, after you found the epicenter, so to say, or a couple of few even epicenters of how you feel the stress or discomfort related to that situation, look in a place inside your body that feels comfortable. Yes, comfortable even when you are looking at this stressful experience. And connect with the part that is comfortable. And stay with that part, watching if any of your stress experience is starting to change. How it makes you feel when you connect with the part which is comfortable. Normally, you will feel that it's kind of stress is subsiding, it's getting less. It becoming less acute. And now go back to the stressful part and stay there for a few seconds. I mean, even 5-10 seconds is enough. Just to remind yourself how it feels like when you are stressed in the epicenter of stress, and then go back to the comfort zone again. And rest there. Just don't fight anything. Rest and observe what's going on with sensations in the body when you're staying with the comfortable zone. So we've done 2 cycles. Once again, check your body. If stress is still present in that epicenter, go there. Or maybe sometimes it moves. So if it moved to another part of your body, scan your body. Where next do I feel the stress or sensation related to that unpleasant situation? So connect, if necessary, with the first or the second or the third stressful part and stay there and feel how it feels, how the stress feels. Don't overwhelm yourself too much. As soon as you feel it's too much, or even before, go back to the comfortable zone again and stay there. Stay there and see how your experience is changing. I'm asking you to do this balancing, or the other word for it is pendulation. Do it once again. Or maybe 2 times, 3 times, switching your attention, like as a torchlight, back to the stressful zone, the first one, the second, the third if needed, and back to your comfort zone. If you need to stay more in the comfort zone, stay there to kind of regaining the ground under your feet, and then go back to check if the other part is still stressing. And now make a clear memory of how it feels like when you are in your comfort zone or in your power place in your body. Just like, again, take a picture, mental image with sensation of it, how it feels when you're connected, when you're grounded within yourself, and take it with you into everyday life. So this was the second exercise. I'm inviting you to come out and maybe if you can share something, you can unmute and say a few words. So that's the exercise that helps you balance your nervous system, help it get back to normal.
So I had a situation a couple of weeks ago where in my clinic, an intake was set for me and I didn't know about it, so I missed the intake. The man came back for the intake and was really unhappy. And saw it as kind of a personal affront that I had not shown up for his intake. And he forcibly demanded an apology, which wasn't a problem for me. But there was a discomfort in his shades of anger and unhappiness with me personally, even though the situation had lots of other elements to it. So I could tag into where my body reacted to that sort of confrontation and then overlap it with a positive experience somewhere else, and sort of that overlap softened the tension actually in my shoulders, and up in here was where that overlap of the two softened my memory of it and my physical memory of it from a couple of weeks ago. So
thank you for sharing so much. And that's what I'm saying, that at least acuteness will go away. You know, you can help yourself to take the acuteness. And second, the overwhelming feeling that, you know, is often accompanied when you feel like, oh, I'm losing it completely. It's not completely, it's never completely. Usually there are still islands of safety where you can regain yourself. Plus, as I said, the body is always with us. As long as we are alive on earth, body is always with us. It's like a living map that you can take with you and start checking, kind of fragmenting, slicing it and seeing it like, where is it? Where is the epicenter? Where are the safety islands where I can stand and rest, even though the whole stressful experience is not that great? There are these islands. Few questions to ask here would be, do you actually know, in general, what is your most powerful resource? So I'll just give you examples how you can use this exercise, you know, in other situations. For example, it shouldn't be necessarily your body or part of your body. It could be, for example, for some person, singing is a big resource. For another person, dancing is a big resource. For me, it could be spending a few moments with myself, one-on-one with myself, and usually in front of the mirror helps me to reconnect with myself and find the ground back. Second question is, so first question, think of what is or represents that resource for you. Your place of power, your activity of power, something that helps you to regain the grounds under your feet when you're losing it. And then second tricky question is, can you actually access this place in times of trouble? So often we kind of know, oh yes, this is good to do, but when it happens, we completely forget that, oh yes, there are these safety islands. That's why it's really good to have these mini trainings and mini exercises where you train your brain to switch. Remind your brain, like build this model for yourself, future behavior model that you can relate to and refer to when the need comes. For example, often with how do we feel stress in general? I realized that when we talk about stress, look at stressful context, there are actually two aspects to it. So that will be time and space. There are two dimensions. So first one, when we feel stressed, it means something is happening too fast for us. And that means, say, if you're talking to another person, even when you're talking with a client, you can take a pause, or just ask for a pause, or ask for going slow, because we are all humans and we get affected. So it's always good to remember first there is time frequency dimension, and we are stressing, we are getting our brain waves, they get faster. The feeling that we usually have is just getting smaller. So take a pause and say, I need to go slow here. Or if you see a person stressing in front of you, you can invite them to slow down and say, go slow. There is no need to hurry. Take a breath. So that's why we say recover your breath. It's breath as a representation of this pace of life which is becoming too fast, unbearable. And then give yourself some space or distance. So yes, we know that when something traumatizing happens, we want to run away and space out from this experience. We want, for example, to stay away from relationships that are hurting. So space and distance, spatial volume dimension is there as well. So allow yourself to zoom out, even if you can't escape something physically, but it would be more comfortable for you to look at it from long distance as a tiny small picture on the horizon, rather than facing something straight in front of your nose. You may play in your mind with the zooming in and zooming out. Zooming out implies the spatial dimension of coming down. So it would be thus good to know what helps you to switch the perspective, to go highest. And here what I mean by that, there are a few things where, for example, the stress may be still very acute and unbearable, and looking at situation is still very painful, but how do we normally respond to unpleasant situations? We try to suppress them, we try to avoid them, we try to jump on them and fight them, attack. So both reactions are a bit too much. Healthy, adequate caring would be somewhere where you can look at it calmly without losing yourself, where you stay with your dignity, where you stay with your power, where you stay with your inner wisdom and resources. You do not overreact, right? I found few things like shifting the register, shifting the whole scale to another level for me would be, how would you look at this situation, for example, from the level of your soul? On the soul level, it's eternal soul. If I look at it from the level of eternity, if just this lifetime from the level of my soul might look like a blink of an eye, the whole situation becomes small, really, less meaningful and less important, or becomes at least more bearable. That's what I'm trying to say. So safety islands are good, but it's also good to know what helps you to shift your perspective radically, just like a register to another level, another scale, whole other scale. So for me, shifting it to the soul level is a great scale. And anything that helps me to just zoom out like that, for example, that's why I like astrology, I like numerology, because it's something that helps you to zoom out and look at things from a much, much higher, bigger perspective. And even like very terrible things that might happen to you, because I met a person, for example, who was abandoned by his mother, biological mother, and he was adopted, but he spent, I don't know, maybe 6 months with his biological mother with, in a high stressful situation. So he has this imprint that he carries throughout his whole life, which is obviously very hard to carry and live with. And say, if you believe in reincarnation, that's another thing that helps you to shift the register, where you say, it's just for this lifetime. I understand I can't change it, but it might give the whole scene another perspective if we say, it's just for this lifetime. Even like that. So that was the second exercise. And we are coming to the third one. So the first one was about flexibility. The second was more about balancing. And this last one will be more about connectivity. As I said, we may have these powers or resources, but we might be unable to connect with them when we need them. So this is also possible, and this is a beautiful systemic ritual. Is actually a mixture of shamanic work and or shamanic ritual and systemic family constellations. There is not much about family there, but it's obviously about system, our personal system and setup. So let me explain what we are going to do. So this particular exercise was presented by Dan van Kampenhout, and he's the one who spent many years living, traveling with all kinds of elders and shamans, plus his original or very first occupation was related to folk music. And when he came across family constellations, basically with his teacher and colleagues, he came up with a new way of putting things together, merging the two. So I absolutely love this because it's the essence. It's a very simple exercise, but in its essence, it presents what we are looking for in everyday life. For this particular exercise, we will need small objects. On the screen right now, you can see that little pebbles, little rocks can be used. And while sending the invite to this program, I was asking you to prepare 10, 15 little objects. So if you don't have pebbles or coins, just grab a few little objects that you have around you. It can be anything. I don't know. It can be a pen, a pencil, eraser, I don't know, anything. Really, anything that you have around you, any little objects would work, because they will work as representatives for something we would like to face, for something we would like to have a look at. In real life constellations, we are not talking about stars here, we are talking about people, and the therapy, the other people are used as representative, for example, to represent different parts of yourself. And you can even face your parts, you can meet them, you can talk to them, and you can reconcile or reestablish the healthy flow of energy and information. You can reestablish communication in between. Where the flow of life, where the energy flow was interrupted, which is always the sign of trauma, you can reestablish the flow, or at least make it looser, make it easier, drill a little tiny speck hole in the wall between you so that the potential movement becomes possible, because it has to start somewhere and with the movement that's currently possible. So here we will be looking at parts of ourselves, and these little objects will represent these parts. We have to remember that some parts of our being, of our soul, our thinking, our emotion can be whole or unbroken, undamaged, functioning very well. So, for example, you can be a great professional at work, but in your private life, in personal relationships, something is not working out. So that part of your life obviously is not working very well. And often we don't know how to resolve it. We simply don't know how to do it. We are broken or wounded, and we are not very functional there. We also know that certain situations, they change over the years. Like at some stage in life, we were functioning okay. And I don't know, then we went through spiritual crisis, and now we have to revise how we can earn money in new ways, how we can relate to the world in a new way. And temporarily we are out, right? We're in this transitional phase where something is not working, something is not functioning. Like we are back to, metaphorically, we are like a little baby who needs to become a toddler and learn to walk again. The trick is that if we look or kind of zoom out from our life, we will see that there are aspects of our life or ourselves, our personality, that are working fine, at least at this present stage. They're functioning, they're whole. But then there are other aspects which are broken, which are not functioning very well. And this is a constant process. It's always developing, always changing. This will be meditation or prayer that you do with eyes open, where we set 3 big objects. I'll explain it first, but you may grab already 3 objects and place them in front of you in a little triangle. So the first object will represent your present self, the one that you are right now. Okay, so this is you, this is your awareness as it is right now. And then the other object will represent your functioning part. And then again, you can choose any area of life that you like to work on, or you can talk about like any functioning part in general, just overall. Okay, and then there will be one object representing broken part. So I'm inviting you to place, find a little space on your desk, on the floor, wherever it's easier for you. You can even write these words on pieces of paper if there is nothing else available. So there'll be 3 objects, one representing your present self, one representing your functioning part, and one representing your broken part. We need few more objects that you can arrange in a circle around these 3 parts that will represent resources. Anything can be a resource. You may find the right book, you may see the right slogan on the advertising poster, you may meet the right person. So anything inside of you or outside of you can become a resource. You know, your favorite sport, or friend, activity. So really keep your mind open to anything that will be coming up. And humor can be a resource, anything, new information, right information, training, course, meditation, anything can be a resource. So again, I'm inviting, just grab whatever you have at hand and arrange it there, because working with real objects, something tangible, physical, really helps us to align or realign how it sits in subtle realm, right? How it sits in our field. What's the current setup in between these 3 parts, right? And what we are looking for these 3 parts of myself or yourself in your daily awareness, my functioning self and my not so functioning self, or me here and now, my brokenness and my wholeness. May they all work together in the best way possible. May they all feel seen and safe. So through these objects, we find representatives for all these parts, so they are all seen and they are all safe. So here I'll just play in what potentially you will do during this ritual. So what often happens when it's okay to connect with our daily selves, right? And it's probably okay, we are always ready to look at our functioning selves. But then for us to look at something which is not functioning, sometimes it's even difficult to look at it. And to be able to look at it, we might need some extra resources. For example, I need more courage just to be able to look at my broken part. And you may add a couple of rocks or objects behind yourself representing this resource. I need courage. I need compassion to myself for my imperfection, just to be able to look at my dysfunctional part. Or then you may shift, for example, to your functioning self, and your functioning self may want to move a little bit further out to be able to have a bigger overview and connection with both your daily self and your broken part. And again, it may need its own resource too, you know, it's maybe some stability and, I don't know, durability that is required for functioning part to stay there for longer and be able to stay in this high perspective. So you may kind of move it maybe back. But again, all these movements, they will be absolutely natural if you switch off your mind and just let you play with the objects in a way, keeping the logic in mind, not the exact movement, because it's like individual dance and everybody's process is absolutely different. After connecting with yourself and after connecting with your functioning part and providing them with the resources, you may be able to have a look at your dysfunctioning part and just see how world feels like and looks like from there. And again, functioning parts, they may be afraid even to show up because they may be so suppressed and so ashamed to show up. So they also need some self-compassion and lots of courage and lots of love to be able to kind of step out and become visible. So you bring little rocks or objects from the circle that represent resources in the back. It's like you put this in your backpack so you can take it into life. And you reshape or reallocate the relationship between these three pieces, your daily self, your broken part, and your functioning part, in a way that feels comfortable to you, that feels finished and logical. Sometimes we need lots of resources, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we want to put, for example, the functioning part behind ourselves and our broken part. Sometimes we want to face the both and make sure, like for me personally, it was critically important to make sure that I constantly can see both, you know, my pluses and my minuses. I need to be able to remember about both sides. Don't lose one, because it's again, it's a sign of getting stuck when you are just here or just there. I'm not good for anything, or I'm so good and I'm so perfect. It's not real. So for me, it was really important to keep them both so I can see them both, and I have the courage to face my broken parts. And I have this compassion and other resources, even sometimes you don't have to name them. Just follow your intuition, follow your inner guidance. May these qualities the three of us have, active or not active, hidden or visible, may these qualities work together, may we be connected, and may we as a team move forward in life in a good way. So this is a prayer for wholeness, for integration, for teamwork. Between the three, we have the resources that can help us. So keep adding the resources, keep bringing the qualities that are needed. or that are active in the field, so that the field is really supported and gets extra energy, so that things move and don't have an end image in mind. It doesn't have to be an ideal image, and now everything is perfect for the rest of your life, because this will never happen. What we can practice is bringing qualities and resources in every situation, so we can always move forward, so we can always rebalance, right, and move on. So the goal is not an end situation, but rather a flow of movement and the flow of resources as they are needed. And I will play some singing. So I extracted a little fragment from my workshop by Dan van Kampenhout, where he gives a little intro, just a quick refresher or summary of what we are doing. And I find it beautiful just to listen to him, because obviously he has much more experience with this ritual, with this exercise. So through him, there will be more dimension, more space opening behind, backed up energetically through his experience. So I want you to listen to his words and maybe put headphones if you don't have them yet, or make the music a bit louder, and let your mind drift slightly as he is singing. So it will be like a meditation with some guidance from his side while you are doing it. And the major part, you'll be working on your own, just listening to his singing without any real words, doing your job of realigning these objects that represent parts of yourself and that represents part of your field in a beautiful dance that feels comfortable to you and feels it's integrating and harmonizing something in your field, helps you to find and regain the balance in any situation, whatever that situation might be. It's about 10-minute exercise, and Dan will give a warning about 1-2 minutes before the end, so you can finalize your process and don't jump out radically out of this exercise. So I'm going to start playing the music, and I'm sure by now you probably have your 3 objects ready and some of the resources, or just grab extras you need. And you may need more, you may need less, just depending on what you have in mind and how you feel about it. There is no right and wrong way of doing it. It's more like making it visible, making it safe for every part to be present, and making some connection and communication and energy flow possible. That's what's important. Okay, there we go.
So every one of us knows how it is to balance between the parts where we function well and the parts where we do not function well. And some days that tension between the two is very big and very strong. Other days the tension is not so big and it's not really a problem, it's just how it is. But all of us have parts that are whole, parts where we function very well, and all of us have parts where we do not function very well and where we are broken. And some days the brokenness turns into wholeness. Other days wholeness turns into brokenness, and it's an ever ongoing evolution and change. Today we have the 3 stones, the here and now, the daily life, the brokenness and the wholeness, the functioning not very well and the functioning very well. And we allow the 3 their gentle choreography, their gentle dance of getting closer and distancing, as they learn how to relate with each other with the help of resources and support, inner resources, outer resources, the circle of resources that surrounds them, that is also ever changing and developing. So may it be a little dance of 3 stones of beauty, may it be poetry in motion, as you set your intention of a dynamic harmony between the three. Hey yo yo ya la ya la hey ya ya la ya hey yo ya ya no yo Ayo ya yo ya na yo lo ya Hey yo ya la ya lo ya 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 lo ya ya Hey ya ya lo Hey yo yo ya ya Hey yo lo ya la ya la la no no Hey ya la ya la la ya no ya la Ayano ya ya la yo ayano lo ya la ya ya hey ya la ya ya la lo hey ya la ya la lo ya ya Hey yo lo ya na ya ya Hey yo lo ya no ya la Hey ya yo lo Hey ya la yo Hey ya 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 Hey ya no yo ya no ya 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 na yo lo Hey yo ya 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 la ya la Hey yo la la ya ya la ya la la ya la ya la la Hey yo ya ya la la ya yo la ya no ya ya no ya la ya yo ya la ya no Hey ya la yo la la ya la yo no Hey yo ya la ya la la yo no ya la Hey ya la hey ya ya la la yo lo ya Hey ya ya la ya la no ya la no yo Hey ya ya la ya la no Hey yo ya la ya no ya no ya ya. Hey yo ya ya. Hey yo ya la ya no ya 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 yo la la. La ya yo no ya la. Hey ya la yo ya la no ya la ya no. Hey yo ya la ya no ya no la. Hey ya 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 yo no ya 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 no ya ya no. Hey yo ya la 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 la. Hey ya yo ya la la ya. Hey yo yo ya la ya lo. Hey yo lo la. Hey yo lo lo la. Hey yo lo lo ya la 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 ya ya. Hey yo ya lo la ya lo la la ya. Hey yo yo la. Hey Allah yo. Hey Allah 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 ya lo. Hey yo ya la ya la la yo yo. Hey Allah ya ya. Hey Allah ya. Hey Allah yo. Hey Allah ya la. Hey Allah yo lo la ya ya ya. Hey yo lo lo. Hey Allah yo lo la ya la. Hey yo lo ya la la. Hey Allah yo lo lo ya la la. Hey lo ya la la yo. Hey lo ya ya la lo. Hey lo lo ya la la yo. Hey lo lo la la ya. Hey lo ya ya. Hey yo lo ya la yo lo ya ya. Hey yo lo ya la yo la. There will always be a part of us that feels complete. There will always be a part of us that feels incomplete. We will always be partially broken and unbroken, partially functioning and not functioning. That's simply the human condition. We can't change that, but we can look for a balance between these things, a forgiveness, a welcoming, an honoring, a recognizing, and supporting, so that the three parts, the here and now, the brokenness, the wholeness, do not have to fight each other, but can find a dynamic balance. And that's our prayer. That's why we do this work, to find a dynamic balance in a situation that will always exist. We take 2 more minutes. Maybe you want to complete one more movement, say your own final prayers, add some stones. A little bit of time to complete the exercise in your own way. I still sing a little bit. Hey, oh, yana, yana.
If you are doing it all by yourself, just play this music and maybe light a candle for this ritual and take it really, really slow. Our brain, our conscious mind, our thinking is working on faster frequencies, faster speed. And your mind may say, oh, it's like 1, 2, 3, everything clear. If you just think like that, it doesn't actually, you've done the whole journey, right? Even if your mind looked at the map and said, oh, this is point A, this is point B, this is point C of my journey, it doesn't mean you experienced the journey. Experiencing, sensing, means we slow down from beta to alpha and probably even deeper to consult with our subconscious mind or even universal consciousness to get the guidance, to get the wisdom, to do the work. The sensing, it's slow, so take your time, and really you can even look at this ritual as a beautiful attention exercise where you practice like full-on mindfulness, full-on presence, when you can put your fingers on, say, your daily self and connect with your daily self and just scan with your mind and all your senses how this feels, be your daily self. Then you can look at functioning self from your daily self and feel how it is for me, how it feels for me when I'm looking at my functioning parts. You may feel proud, your ego may start, jump on the stage and be boasting, and anything may happen. Your chest will be blown out and, oh, that's me looking at something I'm proud of. Something is working. Something feels smooth there when it's working. And then you go back to yourself and look at non-functioning or broken part And you may feel like, oh, I don't even want to look at it. Could you please hide it or put it further away? Or no, I definitely need some resources, or maybe I want to put it further away so it looks small and not so big and not so impressive and acute to me. So can I look at it from further distance away? And then you look at it from further distance away, and kind of maybe later, as you provide yourself with courage and compassion and more love to embrace, like this permeative capability to embrace even broken parts as well with more ease, you can move it closer to yourself. So then you can, as I said, take it as a tension exercise as well. And then you can put your fingers on functioning part and look like how functioning part would feel inside of you again. Would it be full of pride, full of ego? Is it happy to serve? How does it look at you? How does it look? Can it see the broken part, for example? Is it ready to give a hand, helping hand to the broken part? Does it want to connect? Is it able to connect? Does the broken part kind of fall into this spectrum of vision, how far you can reach? Does it fall into that vision range of the functioning part? If it does, oh, that's great. Can we make them closer maybe? And after working in this way with the functioning part, you may also then provide the needed resources, switch to the broken part. And again, how does world looks like from my broken part? Probably the world may look more less friendly, right? More dangerous from my broken part. And everything hurts much more from there. And you just want to hide and not show yourself. Again, full of shame, full of fear, lacking self-acceptance. Maybe I need to put self-acceptance as a resource there, that accept it as just natural, normal part of me, because it's just a process. Nothing is fixed in stone here. We are all being born unable to talk, unable to walk. We first learn to do these things, it's basic physiology. But then as we grow, we go into more and more subtle levels, and we need to do some subtle work. We need to do some spiritual maybe growth or inner personal transformation work. And it's nothing different from learning to walk, nothing to be ashamed of there, or nothing to be scared of there, but it may be equally challenging and hard. So I hope now I managed to explain how truly this exercise works and how beautiful it is. And before I finish today's session, today's meeting, I just invite you to do very simple exercise as a final completion of this ritual. When you close your eyes and sense yourself as you are right now in this very moment, in your awareness, in your daily life. And then maybe regarding the aspect of life, or the problem, the issue you are working, or in general, what you were working on in this ritual. And then imagine that behind you, there is someone, maybe this is your ancestor, who was really good at those things that you are challenged with in life. And you may not know this ancestor. It may not be your parent or grandparent. It may be somebody you don't know. But sure enough, there were enough people in your genetic line back there who contributed kind of their genes, their life energy into yours. And you are alive now because of them. So if you imagine 1, 2, maybe more people there behind your back, standing there and giving you full support, kind of opening up their knowledge to you for your access, kind of available for download if you are reaching out to get it. how do you feel? Trace in your body. Usually you feel much more grounded. Usually you do feel supported. You are no longer alone. There is someone there behind you, willing to give you support, willing to share experience and knowledge in whatever form, maybe through the, I don't know, memory cloud, ancestral memory cloud, but it's there, it's available. Whatever your belief system is, you can always bring more resources when you need into any situation. Like, I don't know, bring the angels in whatever form you like, to your back, to your left, to your right, so you feel comfortable and protected and safe. Bring the image of the animal that has the qualities that you need and connect with it. Think of philosopher, I don't know, psychologist, someone who knew a lot about the issue aspect you are working on, and put him or her behind yourself, or even look at the world through his or her eyes, through his or her experience and knowledge, and you'll see that your interaction with life will become easier. So that was the final exercise. And again, I'm inviting you to repeat it because it's absolutely beautiful. Anybody wants to share anything regarding this one? I know you were not very active in terms of sharing today, but again, you can just send me a chat message or an email later if you like. And those who will be watching and doing it at home, I will also be very pleased to receive your feedback from all of these exercises in whatever form, because I'm always curious how it works for other people. Otherwise, I will move to the last bit and say that this program I devoted to a friend of mine who is my former colleague from the Ukraine, who has to migrate to become a refugee in Wales, in UK. And she called me just to say happy birthday, and then I realized she needs help because of course she was like freshly traumatized and like, you know, almost ready to burst into tears every second, feeling that there are not enough people who will be able to handle her stress. And basically I offered her some help, and I'm still supporting her. And good news is that we found neurofeedback treatment for her in Wales, and I was pleased to know it was very affordable where she is. In this sense, she's very lucky she got where she got, because she went through a series of infra-low neurofeedback treatments that help her to kind of settle and calm down the brain after very fresh trauma. And like she had eye twitching, something else anyway. So she could sleep after the treatment. She could feel more balanced. She could smile again. And for me, this was really, really important that I could do my little bit in helping her settle and sharing with her all my little tricks and exercises and meditation, and give her attention whenever I could. So if you feel that you are in any position better than her right now, I'm already thankful to those who donated, because I can't see the amount of your donation. I can only see if you leave a message to her. I left the optional window for sending a message to her. So in the same registration box where you are registering for participation, there is a link to donate. So it's absolutely voluntary. Nobody is forced, and she's not expecting really anything. So if anything comes in to her, I think it will be a lovely surprise and lovely present and a great support. So I really, really hope you enjoyed this program. And I invite you to join me next Saturday for our Mind Mirror Meditation Club, where I will be taking you through Ken Wilber's Integral Meditation. It's absolutely beautiful. I think the most advanced teaching in the sphere of, human consciousness and psychology these days, that's absolutely worth at least knowing lightly about. Because it will define not just your states of consciousness, but help you identify the filters through which you look at life, and the filters, kind of lenses of maturity. As we mature, as we grow, as we become more conscious, more mindful, more spiritual, obviously how we see this world, how we integrate the information and all the stimuli we receive, all the interactions, we interpret them differently. And it's a great thing to know, explore about yourself, to better understand where we are, on which scale of, so to say, maturity we are, how we interpret the reality. It helps us to grow faster, further ourselves, and it will help us to connect with others on completely different grounds. So that's my goal for the next meeting of the Meditation Club. So this was it for today. Thank you so much. And again, you're welcome to say the final word because before I close the session. There you are. Okay, anything to share? Garth is there, everybody else is hiding. How was it?
I've done some Native American dancing with a drum beat like that. I've done the drum beat, and you definitely get into at least an alpha state with it, whether you're moving or sitting. And that sets up the internal openness to do the sequence, talking about, the sequence of bringing things in. I like that.
Thank you. Thank you, Garth. I was fascinated with simplicity, especially of the last exercise, and looking at it like, this is it. This is like what every, psychologist should know from the very start. And just this is the essence of really every single little treatment, therapy that we do. You know it. If you're able to hold on to it, you're good, you're fine. And it's not necessarily you have to dig deep into pain and trauma like that far. I realized working on the resource is so critically important. I don't like to be fried on the frying pan. Sense your pain, go back into your pain, feel the feeling, sense the sensation. It's like I feel like I'm fried on the frying pan alive. And it doesn't really help because I don't have the capacity, I don't have the resource to feel it all and embrace it all right now. It doesn't work this way, it hurts. So this is why I truly believe, like, if you are resourceful, if you equip yourself with this capacity first, then you can go through the walls, feel the pain, and you know how to manage it, how to moderate it, the pace, you can regulate the volume, you can regulate the acuteness, you can regulate the distance, you can regulate the scale or perspective, and that way it becomes possible. That's my biggest learning. Just take it slow, because again, just your mind will grasp it in seconds, yes, but you didn't do the journey. And important is to do the journey, take it slow, sense it, feel it, experience it, and shift the frequency. That's like you digest, we need to rest to digest. It's exactly the same on subtle levels. You need to relax and slowly go through this stuff, kind of barbecue your experience like a big elephant in small chunks, in small steps, and there you go. That's the only way. Okay, so that was it. Thank you so much for your attention, for your participation. Thank you for donations. You can still do it right now. And I invite you to join me next Saturday for Mind Mirror meditation session. All good. Have a lovely day. Bye.